Bismillah, Bismillah, quiet, quiet. If we make a field trip together to the closest river, what's the closest river?
Esen. That's the closest one to here.
Okay, we'll go to the Essa River, and I say, look everyone, it's the Essa River. And now I'm going to give you a quiz. Which part, what makes it the Issa River? Is it the water? Water never stopped. Wait, stop. Is it the banks? Is it the trees? It must be because the moon is going around the earth and the earth around the sun to create gravity so the water can stay down, doesn't float away. In fact, there's no part of the Issa River which is stable, which is stationary. There's no noun, is there, that's the Issa River. Do you follow me? The Issa River doesn't exist in the way we think about it. It's interdependent. No part of it is separate from any other part. Just like we have the wisdom to call this a finger, but the finger doesn't exist on its own. It's connected to the hand, connected to the body. In fact, it's very good if the organs of the body get along. If they don't get along, whew. But even I call it a finger, we call it a noun. Since I pointed it out, it's different. It keeps changing. It's not the same. There is no such thing as a noun. There's only verbs. Everything interdependent and insubstantial. All part of one. So just like the organs of the body, it's nice if they get along. The body's healthy. It's a good thing if we get along. We're organs together. In fact, that essence of all has surrounded itself with borrowed material from this beautiful planet we're living on. Our bodies are made out of earth, water, fire, air. Same thing the trees are made out of, the animals. We're all made out of the same material. We're all, it's not even right to say we're one family, but that's a good language. We are an aspect of one. So, it's good for us to start getting along with one another. Okay, I spoke enough.
I thought you were just getting started, John.
No, I want to listen. I listen to myself too much. Come on. I didn't say anything important, don't worry. You want to introduce İssa Baba?
Eyvallah. This is our dear brother, İssa Baba. Can everybody hear me? Eyvallah. Too much maybe. Dur. I don't want to hear myself over there. Yeah. I hear myself enough as it is. Ibrahim Baba's son and the continuation of this line. I've known him since he was very young. We've grown up together, yani. MashaAllah. We're still growing. Inshallah. Because there's no end to growing, gentlemen. There's no end to growing.
We sang happy birthday to Mevlana, but both of you are, you drink the wine of Mevlana all the time, you live here. So tell us a little, tell us let us drink some of the wine with you.
Destur. Destur. One day, Mevlana was sitting like this, and his students were sitting around him. And it was a crowd like you, same. And he was talking about the Asr Saadat, the time of happiness, the time in the lifetime of the Prophet. And somebody in the back of the room got up, young guy, and said, I wish that we had lived in those times so that we could have experienced that beauty. And Mevlana said, with this head of yours, if you would have been then, you would have been saying the same thing. What's the difference between then and now? There's only now. Mevlana said, I am the Ahmad of today, not the Ahmad of yesterday.
Wow.
The Prophet said that every period would have its renewers, mujaddid. Every asr there would be a mujaddid. Every era would have its renewing. And alhamdulillah, it's come this way. Because this is what the path of Mevlana is. This is what the path of Sufism is. It's keeping the essence that was brought to us and renewing its shirts so that it fits as we grow as humanity. Because we're all growing. This is an individual journey, yes, but that individual journey is from us to ourselves. To our self-realization of what we are, what we were created as. When Allah had this love to be known, it created us. All of the nafs, all of the us's were created at the same time. All one, yet all individual, yet all one. Like gold. You can make it into an earring, you can make it into a tooth, you can make it into a bowl, you can make it into anything you want. Does anything add or diminish the value of it? No.
Wow.
Gold is gold. And we are human beings. So our first job is to realize who we are and take the responsibility that comes with it. Because we were sent here as the Khalifa, as the representative of the Creator, to be its hands and feet and eyes and ears, so that it could know itself through what we know. But the first thing we have to realize is ourselves. The Prophet told us to know yourself. Your nafs is to know your Rabb, your trainer, literally. This is what every single spiritual path in the world, in this globe, is doing. They are all working on for the same purpose. The methodology can be different. And every methodology is right, is haqq. Because there's nothing that is created that is not haqq. But if you want to get anywhere, you need to stick to one method. It really doesn't matter what it is. You have to stick to one method, and you have to be sincere. You have to be committed. İkrar. Then you can get somewhere very quickly. Then you can figure out who you are very quickly. I don't know, I'm just saying stuff. You know? Hak. Sen konuş biraz canım ya. Vallahi ya, yoruldum. Estağfurullah canım ya. Tamam da ben kendimi dinlemekten biraz sıkıldım. Hep kendimi dinliyorum zaten. Bilmiyorum başka dinleyen var mı ama.
You guys are talking a secret language.
No, it's a pretty common language.
To go off of what Pir Shabda was saying, it's like a secret language. But the beauty is that it's secret until you learn it. So the secrets that Cem Baba is speaking about that lie in the inner realm within ourself that we so desire to come to know, these are things that we can learn. So it's not something we say, oh, the secrets, the secrets, the secrets, and we leave it at that. But until we embark on the path that he spoke of, then until we have embarked on that path, we do not yet know that language. So it reminded me when he mentioned ikrar of a line of Hazreti Sinan, when he speaks of the ikrar, this oath, this dedication to the journey and the process of self-knowledge and self-cleansing. He says, Sarraf gerek cevhere nadan bilesi değil. So for that inner gem, a jeweler is needed to know its value, not someone who lacks knowledge. Now that jeweler, often we're told, is our teacher, and the teacher is the one who is able to unveil that inner jewel to us and say, look, there is something of great value within you. Recognize that, uncover that. Whatever is covering it, whatever has accumulated on top of it, which makes it so that you cannot see it, remove it. But at the same time, we are also that jeweler. We also have to recognize that inner value, that inner gem. Right?
Right. Absolutely. I'm looking for him still.
Cem Baba.
I'm looking for him. I know he's there somewhere.
But it's like any thing that we learn. We begin like the beautiful voices of the young ones in this crowd. We imitate. We make sounds that we think sound like that language. But then we grow and we start to learn the meaning of those sounds. And then we start to speak. And those secrets, that secret language, becomes revealed to us. And it becomes the language with which we communicate and through which we understand the world and we understand ourselves. But we should not be afraid to be like the toddler and make imitating sounds. Making sounds that sound like that language. And that is the work of what we call taqlid, of imitation for the sake of tahqiq, realization.
Or you could say, fake it till you make it.
Exactly. In other words. In other words.
I'm starting to feel a little uncomfortable because even though I don't feel that way, it appears that we're all in men's bodies. And there's no, so Lakshmi, why don't you come join us? Come on. Don't you agree? You know, being a human being is such an extraordinary paradox because essence of our being is perfect, is the all in all. There's nothing you can do to improve the soul. You can't stain that soul. But then, what method are we given to awaken from our confusion? We're meant to make mistakes. So on the one hand, we're a perfection vehicle, on the other hand, we're a mistake vehicle. It's by design. So it's good. Make mistakes. It's good to learn from your mistakes, no doubt. So we don't repeat the same mistakes again, but we know how the universe is. If we didn't learn it the first time, you know, it brings the plate says, here, I've been holding this food for you. You have to eat this. No, I'm not hungry. Next time it comes with a bigger plate. So there was one other thing that I felt was valuable, especially, this is such a precious gathering. You know, for me, it's a cross between a Sufi retreat, rainbow gathering, Burning Man, music festival, you know, Bhakti Fest, all mixed together. The Sufis use two terms which I think you can easily understand, hal and maqam. Hal and maqam. So hal, ecstasy, an experience that lifts you up from your current condition. Let's say, like we're sitting looking at the viewpoint, you know, a higher viewpoint where we can see a greater view. And it's a great relief. And then there's a term called maqam. And the simple translation in English is called our station. Where we live our everyday life. And especially as a young person, if I think myself, I think I overvalued hal and undervalued maqam. It's great to have an ecstatic experience. We should have those. But changing your maqam is gradual. That comes by day, going to the gym, you know, going to the spiritual gym, watching your breath, meditating, reciting, taking some time to develop so that your everyday life is filled with loving kindness and compassion, and less and less you're disturbed by your greed and your anger and your jealousy and your fear and your self-loathing. Those won't go away. Don't get too confused. They become your companions, and you can invite them to meditate with you. So come on, Lakshmi, tell us something. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's been also beautiful to be here. Thank you, Rila and Uyghur, for being in my life and being able to share this desire and this vision of gathering anytime we can. And I feel very related to all of you in so many ways. And we've been talking with some people about how we feel in this path and what it brings to us in the daily life. Yeah. And for instance, I've been with Shabda, sharing some spaces like this in the past few years, and I've listened to his stories and his talks over and over and over and over.
I only have a few stories. Oh, no, not that one again. Oh, I heard that one before.
But the beautiful thing is, it's like with a good book, you know. Sometimes you want to read it again, and you discover new things, because you have arrived to a different station, to a new station. And this requires all your awareness and all your involvement in what you do. I feel that anything you do, you have to do with so much love and with all the commitment. And yes, this can come from these beautiful practices that we can share in many of the paths. But I feel that in the real life, in the real world, is where we really want to practice this, you know, with your family, with your friends, in your work, in everything you do. And it's true, to arrive to a station is, it requires a lot of work. It requires to be persistent. There are so many ways to do this. You will find your own way, I'm sure. Like Cem Baba was saying, you know, all ways are true as long as you feel that really deep in yourself. And then the other flashes and these fireworks that once in a while go off and make you feel like so excited, maybe become less important, because then you feel more harmony being in this station where you can really be at peace. So.
Wow. I just want to, one more thing, because you know, we're like oldest, middle, younger. It's so hopeful. It's so hopeful that you hope in every generation that another voice will come that can carry the message and share, and so it just feels so hopeful to be here together, and so proud and so happy that in each generation there's another voice and another voice. That it's not like you were saying, like the story you told, you know, about Mevlana saying, "No, the time is now.
Yeah.
Now is now."
Let's be here now, as Ramdas would say. Allah rahmet eylesin. So be here now, yeah? But really, yani, right now. Don't be in your head or in your thoughts. Just really be here now. If you can't feel it now, when are you going to feel it? When you're such a...
We're working on it. Don't worry us on. We're working on it.
They can do it.
It's not that easy.
Yes, they can do it. Just open up.
We're
the
trying.
space is here. Yeah. It's being held strongly. Yeah, you have people here from 3 continents, Janam, yeah? Yeah.
Wow.
From North America, from Europe. I was born on the other side of Istanbul. And from India, Janam. And South America. I'm blind on my right side, Jim. Everyone who knows me knows this. So from here on is black. But yeah.
South Ecuador. Equator.
Yeah.
Super balanced.
Sorry, can I disturb you? And can we move, you and I move back a little bit so we have, so I can arch so we can see each other's faces?
Yeah, I can try that. What's behind me?
Because I'm hearing my sister's voice, but I want to see her beautiful face too.
You can come forward, sweetheart.
Not that all of you are not beautiful, gentlemen, of course. More is better.
İssa Baba, tell us something. They've been listening to me all week. Come on.
They've been listening to you all week, but I haven't. I just got here.
Good answer.
Okay, so
Okay.
let me tell a story then.
Okay. We like stories.
And this is a story that's being inspired by our sister there drinking water on the stage. So one day, this many years ago, for those who don't know, the great Sufi saints, Hazreti Beyazıt Bestami, he was on his way to the mosque in the morning to do his prayers. And he was from was the Maliki or was it the Shafi that couldn't touch a dog? Maliki, değil mi? He was of the Maliki school of religion, so if a dog touched him, then he would have to take his ablutions all over again. Was it Shafi? Then it was Shafi. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm an old man too. I keep forgetting. Yeah. Anyway, so as the dog is coming, he pulls his robes to the side like this so that his robes don't touch the dog.
This is Bestami.
Bestami, yeah. And the dog stops and he looks at Bestami and he says, yes, I don't know if there were mushrooms involved. But the dog says, if you touch me, you can go take your ablutions and wash and be ready again for your prayers. But how are you going to wash your heart? Bayazid Bastami was shocked.
A talking dog, yeah.
No, not so much by the talking dog, but by the wisdom that this talking dog was giving him. And he says, yeah, alhamdulillah, praise Allah. Please, let's be friends. You have such wisdom. And the dog says, oh, never. We would never be friends with beings like you. I said, what do you mean? He said, you have no qanaat, you have no satisfaction, and you have no trust, tawakkul. With us it's different. When we're hungry, we eat. When we find food, we eat. If we don't find food, we don't eat. We don't think about what food is going to come tomorrow or 2 weeks from now. But all you're thinking about is what's coming. You have no trust in Allah. And you're never satisfied. Always more and more and more. We can't be friends with beings like you. And he walks off. And Bayazid Bestami, one of the first and greatest saints, actually included in so many lineages as well. Yani. Inshallah, we can be like a dog.
You know, for me, the path has two sides. If you don't have a wish, life is over. So we want to be passionate for the goal. Certainly it's different than the hungers, for what's coming next, but and on the other hand, if we turn the coin over, naturally we want to be relaxed. We want to be at ease with whatever arises. We want to make friends with whatever arises because it's come as our teacher, like we talked about. Life is here as our teacher. We want to be at ease. But if we lean too heavily on the ease side, we could get complacent. Oh, everything's okay. If we lean too heavily on the desire side, we could get heated up. And so we want to be alchemists. So we want to, enough of, what does Rumi say? Enough of this metaphysics, I want burning. So we want to burn for the truth. But we don't want to be incinerated. So passion, aspiration for the goal, ease with whatever arises. And to keep bringing those two qualities together and to keep being an alchemist. If you get too complacent, everything's okay, and you're going along and there's not much movement, turn up the burner. Get some passion going. Develop your practice. And then if you get too heated up, calm down.
Like Hazrat Ali would say, if your spirituality becomes too heavy, dive into the dunya, into the world. And when your world becomes too heavy, dive into your spirituality.
Yes, for me this makes all sense. And one thing that I would add to what you have said is when you really find that station, when you find that place in between these two, and you are in balance, I feel that something new comes to be present in your life, and it's the fact that you realize that this is not something you possess, this is not something permanent. It's like Shabda said, it's a verb. We're always moving, we're always changing, but something that becomes a very important part of the path is to serve, to bring service into your life, in whichever way also, in whichever way you find you can be of benefit to others. So it's very amazing what this can bring into your life as well, because when you don't feel so attached to something that is good for you, but you also let it go through you to others, there's something that happens. There's this very magical, because when you share something, it sort of expands, and it's a great feeling. So whenever my advice would be, if ever you feel that you really have something, a treasure that you want to share it with others who may be ready for this, and you will see how this expands and feels parts of your being that you didn't realize before were there. Yeah?
In part, to help us understand our place in this world, in this human manifestation, we develop at a young age, a sense of possession, a sense of ownership. This thing is mine, that thing is mine. This belongs to me and to no one else. And the sense of ownership and possession, it stretches from physical things, from material things, to immaterial things. It's not just our phone, our house, our parents, our children, our spouse, but it's states of being, ways in which we understand our selfhood, what makes me, me, and what not. There's probably times when this is good for us in our development, but I think, from what I've heard from my teachers, I think that we have to evolve to an understanding of being sacred trustees. We are entrusted. So all of those things that we say we own, they're ours, that we possess, they are things that are entrusted to us. Because where there is the one, there is space for no other. If the divine is the one who possesses all things, there is no space for any other possessor. But there's space for people, things, forms that are entrusted with what the Malikul Mulk, with what the one who truly is the possessor of all has. So, in terms of our spiritual states and our journey and our sense of ourself, I think this brings great relief to us, because I don't want to have to carry all of that myself. You know, it's fine and dandy when I feel good, but when it gets heavy, what do I look for? I look for support. I look for help. I look for guidance. I look for someone who can help me bear that burden. And in reality, the divine is always there, nearer than our jugular vein. What does that mean? Nearer than what we think is our source of life, physically speaking. In that most essential core of our being, saying, put it on me. You don't have to carry it. It doesn't have to be yours. You don't have to carry that burden. You can float on the ocean of existence. You don't have to feel like you're being pulled down by a bunch of weights. And now, Hazreti Mevlana tells a story about this floating. I'll tell the story and then I'll get to the wisdom that he shares about the story with your permission. There once was a master of Arabic grammar, and if anyone knows Arabic, they know that Arabic grammar is its own universe, just the grammar of the language. And there was, how do you say? Boatsman? Yeah, a boatsman. And so this, so the expert of Arabic grammar, he wanted to go somewhere, so he hired the boatsman to take him across. And of course, what happens? Well, things start to get a little bit stormy on the path. But before that, you know, they're having conversation, and the grammarian asks the boatsman, he says, well, what do you know of Arabic grammar? You know, this is the key to the universe, is knowing grammar of the language. Now, of course, Imam Shafi, he says that the people that know the Arabic language, they're like the unseen beings, because they see what is hidden, what is apparent, but what is hidden. But that's another topic. It's one thing to see the benefit of something as a tool on the path. It's another thing to see it as the ultimate goal. And something very good, if we turn it into the ultimate goal, then it becomes a burden on us. Anyway, so the boatsman says, I don't know any Arabic grammar. I'm just a boatsman. This is my job. This is what I do. And he said, shame. You've wasted half of your life because you didn't learn this grammar that would help you understand this level of the divine revelation and whatnot. And then, as I said, the waters start to become stormy and the boat is about to capsize. And what does the boatsman ask the grammarian? He says, "Oh, master grammarian, do you know how to swim?" And he says, "No, I don't." He says, "Well then, you've wasted all of your life." And so, one of the wisdoms that Hazreti Maulana points out in this story is that we have to be able to survive those stormy moments in that sea of existence. We have to be like logs. We have to allow ourselves to be carried. We have to allow ourselves to float. And we have to let certain senses of self that are spiritually unhealthy for us die away, so that we can be carried by that ocean, and so that wisdom of swimming can be revealed to us, inshallah.
Wow.
So now you, with the waves and the storm, it reminded me of a story. Can I share this, Shabda? I don't know if anyone has heard this before, but it's an old story, Bektashi story. Bektashi is one of our Turkish orders of Sufi orders.
We were just there.
Huh? You were at Hacı Bektaş. Eyvallah, mashallah. I was just there too, just before you.
I was there 2 months ago.
Even before.
No, the first time I went with Cem Baba.
Yeah.
And they took us. It was right before Mevlana's Urs. So snow, and we're sitting in the turbe, with our coats and our wool, meditating in the cold.
Did you go through the hole in the rock?
Yes. Yes.
Did you go through?
Yes.
Mashallah. I can't remember. I think everyone went through. You know what Shabatin did to me one time? I was taking his people around, and we came to the rock, and I told them the story, and I'm going to show them how to do it, but I'm expecting fully that everyone follows me. So I took off my winter snow, I took off my coat and everything, so I'd be as small as possible. Started going in, I said, I said, "Are you guys coming?" And Shabatin says, "No, you go ahead and go for all of us." Oh, bleep, yeah. I went. It took me probably about 40 minutes to get through the hole. And when I got out on the other side, there was not a dry eye among anybody there, because they'd almost witnessed a birth, a physical birth that was beautiful.
For context, there is a hole in the cave, in the wall of the cave, where Hacı Bektaş may his secret be sanctified, would do his spiritual retreats, and where he resided for a long time. And there is a common belief that if one is able to pass through this very small hole, it recognizes a certain level of spiritual purity. Now, I think the very important point in the story that Cem Baba told of his passing through it is not the passing through it, it's the time and the effort and the pain and the patience that it took to get through that hole.
Anam ağlattı vallahi yani.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Now tell us the story.
Yeah, Janam, now the story. Because it puts it all into context. Yeah. There was a young Bektashi dervish. So young that he's not even shaving yet. No beard, no mustache. Has been in the dargah for maybe 4 or 5 months. And he went to the hammam, the Turkish baths. And he was washing himself. He had soaped himself fully and was putting the clean water in the kurna, the receptacle for water in the hammam, in the baths. And just as he was going to dip his bathing bowl to start rinsing himself, a cockroach fell into the water. And he just, oh my, took it and threw it on the ground. And he said, Ya Allah, I know that you created everything to be of benefit and service to humanity. Well, what possible benefit could such a filthy creature as this have? And he stomped on it and emptied all the water out and filled it again. Now, if I ask this, or most of us ask this question, of Allah's not going to take us seriously. But this is a young Bektashi dervish. So he gave him the answer very quickly. He got very ill, very, very ill. He went to the hakims and to the imams and to the hojas and to the every kind of medicine alternative he could find, and no one could help him. His lungs were drying up. He's dying. Then the old woman who lived next door, an old crone, a shaman, of course, because, you know, shamanism is also in our culture, in our indigenous culture, and we are indigenous. This is something also that I would like to point out to all the Turkish people here. We are also indigenous, Jano. Yeah, we don't have to find other people's ingenuousness. I don't know, is there such a word? Anyway, she has a bowl with oak ash, and she says to him, spit into this bowl. And he spits in the bowl, and she turns it around, looks at it, says, yeah, I know what your problem is. And I also have the solution. But I don't know if you could do it. He has one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel. He's going quickly here. He will do anything. Think of the same situation for yourself. I don't have to say anything more. She says you have to take every morning one cockroach, but the big ones, you know, with the wings, they're very fat. So. And crush it in the mortar and eat it with a spoon in the morning on an empty stomach and in the evening on an empty stomach. So he did. Now, as an aside, I went to China 15 years ago or so with Sharif Baba to see a healer there, a Shaolin monk healer. Can't remember his name. You know who I'm talking about. And at that time, I learned, because there was a chemist, a pharmacy, but not pharmacy, chemist, because their medicine is all natural medicine. So they have shelves and shelves and shelves, and in one of the shelves there was cockroaches, dried cockroaches. I asked, what good is dried cockroaches for? And they said for lung problems. And in the story, as it's originally told, it actually says that his lungs were drying up. This was a lung story and a lung cure. Anyway, after many, many years, this young Tuful dervish who couldn't even shave is now a Dede Baba, long white beard, a big teslim tash, stone on his neck, and he's sitting on the deck of a ship that's going across the Black Sea. And he has his food bag opened as a tablecloth and a bowl of soup and his spoon. And just then a storm begins to come. Çağrışım oradan geldi. A storm begins to come, and all the poor people who are on the deck, because all the rich people are inside, so no problem, but all the poor people are on the deck, as always, and they come running. And they say, oh, Dervish Dede, please pray to Allah that He stills the seas. He will listen to you. And the Dervish Dede says, no way. The last time I prayed for anything, He made me eat it. I will only pray for one thing, that the soup that I'm going to eat doesn't spill.
Yeah. Someone sent me an email today about research that was happening in farming in Kansas. Kansas is like Turkey, like a bread belt, you know, where there's so much agriculture. And what they found is that the current agriculture, with its pesticide, had killed all the dung beetles. Now they found that the dung beetle's activity takes the manure from the cows and brings it into the earth and brings food into the earth. And when the dung beetles aren't there, then the cow manure is the place where the flies come, and then the flies multiply and disturb everybody else. And so now they're reintroducing the dung beetle, and then they are also measuring the quality of the soil by how it absorbed rainwater, and it multiplied by 10 or 20 or 30 times just by this leaving this natural cycle. But then I want to tell you this one story that was very, very meaningful in my life. It's 1970. I have the good fortune to travel as an attendant to my spiritual teacher, Murshid Samuel Lewis. And you know, we living in California, but now we're on the East Coast in New York, and we traveled for 5 weeks together. And he was a soil scientist, and he worked on water desalinization, on seed exchange, on food production. And so we were invited to visit this man. His name was Cleve Baxter. He was a retired FBI agent. FBI, you know.
Everyone knows
yeah,
FBI.
You all know. And he was when he worked for the FBI, he was the expert on the lie detector machine. lie detector machine it's another name is called galvanic skin response. So it measures the change of electrical potential on the skin as a way to feel if someone is getting excited. So we go to visit this man, Cleve Baxter, because of his research. Many of you probably have heard about it. He wrote the book, The Secret Life of Plants. Later became a film. So he says his research began like this. He was in his office. He was very bored. And he had a ficus plant, you know, a house plant. That ficus plant, very hardy, comes from the fig family. So he had a ficus plant in his office, and he hooked up the machine to the leaves. And then he had the thought, I wonder what will happen if I burn the leaf. And when he had the thought, the needle went off the edge. That was the first note of his research. That's that communication that we're not so aware of. He said, then he set it up so that he could observe what was happening in the natural world that might affect the plant. So the next thing that was very dramatic, he had gone to the market and he'd bought some live shrimp. And he was in his office and he put the shrimp into the boiling water. And when he put the shrimp in the boiling water, the needle went off. So the plant showed its sensitivity to loss of life in its atmosphere. Fast forward, now his research has gone on for a year or so, and he's giving lectures on it. And he's in Michigan talking about his plant in New Jersey. So that means like he's in the UK talking about his plant in Turkey. That you know, something like that. And when he's talking about his plant in the UK, his plant in Turkey, the needle's going off the edge. So all of our feelings, all of our thoughts, we can communicate just to start with each other with the coconut wireless. We're friends. We're always together if we're friends. I can call you anytime when I need help. You can call me. My line is open. Call me anytime. I'm here. I want to serve. But I wanted you to see too that this beautiful world we live in, which is, as I said, we're all made out of the same fabric. It's there communicating, and so make friends with the plant world. It's there to serve you, and we're there to serve it. But that story reminded me of that. Should we do a little, let's do a little song to close up. It is a very simple, plug me back in again, thanks. It's in a waltz time. Waltz is always good for your feelings. those two lines. Second part. Allah, Allah.